Today, I want to talk to you about something that's being sold to the American public as bold, as transformative, and get this, as beautiful. But it's not. It's anything but beautiful. It's dangerous, it's cynical, and it's ugly as hell. I'm talking about what House Republicans are calling the big, beautiful bill, right? It is big, 1,116 pages big. It's also expensive, nearly $5 trillion over the next decade. That's according to nonpartisan estimates. But what it really is a Trojan horse, a policy bomb dressed up in patriotic wrapping paper. You may have heard that this bill robs the poor to give to the rich. That part is true. You may have heard that it slashes healthcare and it bloats tax cuts for billionaires. That part is true too. But you probably haven't heard about some of the deeply hidden, completely just unhinged, wildly dangerous provisions that didn't make the headlines. That's what I'm here to walk you through. So get comfortable. It's going to take a little bit. Pour yourself a drink, hot or cold, whatever you want. We're going to spend some time with this because you need to know. These are the 10 most scandalous provisions hiding in the so-called big, beautiful bill. And number one, it cripples America's courts. I'm going to say that again. It cripples our courts. This bill includes language that would just bar funding for enforcing court orders if they involve executive branch officials being held in contempt. Interesting, right? Meaning, if Trump or his allies are ordered by a judge to comply with the law, they can just ignore it. And the courts, their hands would be tied. This isn't just bureaucratic overreach. It is the beginnings of a soft coup. The rule of law only works if there are consequences for breaking it. This provision basically says that the president and his cronies are really above the law. Okay? That's not America. That is authoritarianism. That's number one. Number two, it guts the Affordable Care Act, okay? Obamacare, right? We've seen this play before, but this time it's even crueler. This bill allows critical ACA subsidies to expire at the end of 2025. Those subsidies help millions of working families. It helps them to afford insurance. Without them, premiums go up, coverage goes down, people get sick, and people die. And I know death sounds dramatic, but let me be very clear here. It's not. Experts, including folks at KFF and the Bulwark, have said plainly that tens of thousands of Americans could lose coverage. And if you're low income, disabled, or chronically ill, you're the first in the firing line here. This isn't fiscal policy. This is legislative malpractice. Okay, that's two. Here's three. They want to deregulate silencers. Yeah, gun silencers. Tucked deep into this budget bill is a provision that repeals the $200 federal excise tax on silencers and removes them from the National Firearms Act. Let's be honest about this. Silencers aren't for deer hunting. They're not for sport. They're for concealment. They're about stealth. And in the wrong hands, that's about mass murder. Why is this in a budget bill? Because they know the public wouldn't support it out in the open. This is how the gun lobby works. Quietly, behind closed doors, in the shadows. And apparently, Congress is happy to follow their lead. That's number three. Here's number four. It eliminates the IRS direct file program. If you have never heard of direct file, let me tell you why that's on purpose. It is a free tax filing system from the IRS, pilot tested, popular, effective. It helps regular people, especially working class folks, file taxes without paying hundreds to TurboTax or HR Block or tax preparers, right? So what does this bill do? It kills it. Why does it do that? Because the private tax prep lobby didn't like the competition. This is straight up class warfare. They don't want you to save $150 in tax prep fees because their corporate friends, they want that money. And they call this fiscal responsibility? Support for the Don Lemon Show today comes from ZBiotics. And I have to tell you about this. This is a game-changing product that I use before a night of drinks. It's called pre-alcohol. ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. So here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It builds up. It's a buildup of this product, not dehydration, that is to blame for rough mornings or rough days after drinking. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this product down. So just remember to make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly, and you're going to feel your best the next day. Okay, so I first gave it a try when I had to attend a wine tasting, and I drank it before my first glass of wine, and thank God I did. And you wouldn't believe I was on top of my game the next morning. I felt great. So now that summer's here, that means that there's lots of opportunities to celebrate. So go to zbiotics.com/lemon drops to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use lemon drops at your checkout. ZBiotics is back with a 100% money back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they're going to refund your money, no questions asked. And remember to head to zbiotics.com/lemon drops and use the code lemon drops at checkout for 15% off. So now let's get back to our discussion. Here's number 5. It gets Trump's tools to punish nonprofits. That part is chilling. The bill gives the president new powers to revoke a nonprofit's tax-exempt status if it is deemed to be connected to terrorism or if it criticizes government policy in ways that are suspect, right? You see where I'm going with this? You speak out against Trump, and suddenly your organization is now under review. You run a community clinic, a civil rights group, a public housing nonprofit. Too bad. And here's the kicker. Republicans used to be outraged about this kind of thing. Just a few years ago, J.D. Vance said weaponizing the IRS could destroy America.
I understand everybody sort of looks at this. I'm a conservative. They say a conservative is complaining about what the IRS is doing to conservatives. This is really not about left versus right. This is about whether we have functional constitutional government in this country. If the IRS can go after you because of what you think or what you believe or what you do, we'd no longer live in a free country. That's what this is all about. And if you think they're not going to eventually use it against your politics, whatever they might be, it's ridiculous. They certainly will.
But now, crickets. Now, number 6. It blocks state regulation of artificial intelligence. Now, that one is weird. It's very weird. The bill puts a 10-year moratorium on state or local governments regulating AI, artificial intelligence. So if a red state wants to ban deepfakes or AI porn, they can't. If a blue state wants to regulate how kids use AI in classrooms, also can't. It's a total preemption power grab coming not from conservatives, but tech billionaires. Think about who stood behind Trump at his inauguration. Think about those folks, right? The crypto giants. This provision didn't come from Congress. It came from the donor class. And now it's in your legislation. That should terrify you. Number 7, it imposes Medicaid work requirements. This is the old welfare queen playbook. It just has a new twist on it. The bill says if you're an able-bodied adult and you don't work 80 hours a month, you can lose your Medicaid. Now, here's the thing. Most people on Medicaid already work or can't because they're caretakers, disabled, or elderly. This is a paperwork trap. It is designed to throw people off the rolls, not because they're lazy, but because they can't navigate a maze of bureaucracy. And here's the irony. A huge chunk of Medicaid recipients vote Republican. Even Josh Hawley is speaking out.
So if this bill comes over from the House to the Senate and you have to vote on it, are you no if this bill does not change?
I'm not going to support this bill from the House in this form. I think that's clear. It's got to change before it can pass the Senate. And I continue to stand by my line in the sand, which is no Medicaid benefit cuts. Listen, if you want to do work requirements, I'm all for that. I bet every Republican and I bet most Americans would agree with that. But we're not talking here about just work requirements. The House goes much, much, much further than that. This is real Medicaid benefit cuts. I can't support that. No Republican should support that. We're the party of the working class, Manu. We need to act like it.
When Josh Hawley is the voice of reason, you got a problem. Something's got to be wrong. Okay, no, that was number 7. Here's number 8. It guts clean energy. This one might be the most damaging of all in the long run. Hear me out here. The bill accelerates the phase out of clean energy tax credits, slashing incentives for wind, solar, EVs, and more. It is a direct reversal of the progress made under the Inflation Reduction Act. And it's being done to appease fossil fuel donors. We're in the middle of a climate crisis right now. Fires, floods, rising seas, okay? And instead of fighting for the planet, they're fighting for oil companies. This isn't just short-sighted. It's really suicidal. Number 9, the salt sweetener. Now, this one it's a little bit wonky, but stay with me here. The bill raises the cap on the state and local tax, SALT, S-A-L-T, deduction from $10,000 to $40,000. Who does that benefit? Well, it benefits wealthy people in blue state areas. Why? Because Speaker Mike Johnson needs to keep those Republicans in place, like New York and California needs to keep them happy. So while you lose Medicaid and food stamps, millionaires in the suburbs get a tax break. Make that make sense, okay? And finally, number 10, it violates the Byrd Rule. The Byrd Rule is a Senate rule that limits what can be included in reconciliation bills. It says only things that directly affect spending and revenue can go in. You know what doesn't qualify here? Gun silencers, nonprofit crackdowns, and AI bans. They are policy changes, not budget items. So a lot of this stuff, it may not even survive in the Senate. But the fact that House Republicans put it in anyways, that tells you everything about their mindset, what they think is important, right? They're not legislating in good faith. They are throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping that some of it sticks. I know that this was a lot, okay? But if you take away one thing here, I want it to be this. This bill isn't about making America great at all. It's not about economic growth or national security. It's about making the rich richer, making the powerful untouchable, and making the rest of us sicker, poorer, and voiceless. So what do? We push back loudly, relentlessly. We call our senators. We demand answers. We refuse to let these sneaky, cynical, corrupt provisions just slide through, because what they're counting on is that we just won't notice. But we noticed. And now we speak. America, this is your wake-up call. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.